996th day of the Ukrainian-Russian war. Russia's Putin cult continues to attack Ukrainian lands, losing thousands of Russian soldiers. Every day, Ukrainian troops continue to defend their land and freedom from the invaders who seek to capture and destroy Ukraine. Today, I'm going to show you the fierce fighting and destruction of the Russian occupiers on Ukrainian soil that has been captured on video over the past week. I am Hustler. Let's get started. Ukrainian aerial reconnaissance spotted 3 Russian tanks on the horizon. They were moving along a road mined by Ukrainians. The first tank hit a mine and detonated. The tank that followed him also hit a mine. The explosion caused a chain reaction that hit a third tank, and it also detonated. A Russian brigade on armored personnel carriers advancing on the other flank was attacked by Ukrainian kamikaze drones. And also by Ukrainian tank brigades. A Ukrainian kamikaze drone in search of Russian occupiers finds a very good target. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary armored personnel carrier, but in fact, it is a battalion self-propelled artillery unit, 2S-23 Nona-SVK. A Ukrainian drone strikes once, causing the artillery unit to burst into flames like a candle. With another drone, Ukrainian operators checked the exact destruction of the artillery system. This one is definitely not suitable for combat operations. Another Russian tank that was spotted by Ukrainian aerial reconnaissance. A Ukrainian kamikaze drone was sent to it, which destroyed it with one accurate hit. Ukrainian air reconnaissance spotted a Russian landing. While the scouts were watching, a Ukrainian kamikaze drone was sent to the occupiers. Another attractive target for Ukrainian kamikaze drone operators, 2 armored vehicles with Russian troops being redeployed. Ukrainian kamikaze drones fly to meet their targets. At the same time, the reconnaissance drone is recording everything on video. The drone flies to the target and hits the windshield of an armored car. After an impact collision, the car catches fire and burns down. This is a heavy Russian flamethrower called the self-propelled. A Ukrainian kamikaze drone chases it and then destroys the target with a precise hit. Kursk region. The Ukrainian military is holding this area to put pressure on Russia. Russian occupants are trying to break through the Ukrainian defense, but often fall victim to kamikaze drones. Targeted hits, allowing for effective destruction of Russian equipment and occupiers. The attack was successfully repelled. The Ukrainian village of New York is occupied by Russian invaders. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone spotted large concentrations of Russian strike forces. After being informed of the situation, Ukrainian kamikaze drones flew in. The Russian military, unaware that drones were already flying towards them, felt calm. But this did not last long. Arriving at the location, the Ukrainians began to launch powerful attacks. The Russian invaders realized that they were being hunted by Ukrainian kamikaze drone operators and began looking for a place to hide among the destroyed buildings. But it was not the best idea. The spy drone was constantly watching the Russians. And here, Ukrainian defenders used artillery. The surviving occupants began to flee and hide in other buildings, but Ukrainian drones reached them as well. The Russian occupier ran into the basement in a panic, but it was not his best decision. Ukrainian intelligence discovered a self-propelled artillery system. The occupiers were first attacked by one Ukrainian kamikaze drone. But to finally destroy the target, the Ukrainian military used another deadly drone. The armored personnel carrier was successfully neutralized. A Russian tank and an armored vehicle managed to break through to the Ukrainian town of Kupiansk. As the tank advanced, it fired at Ukrainian positions. To neutralize the tank and armored vehicle, Ukrainians used 2 kamikaze drones and dropped 3 bombs to completely neutralize the vehicles and the occupiers. The occupiers who managed to survive the bombing began to flee. Ukrainian defenders managed to stop the assault and destroy Russian equipment. This group of Russian soldiers, who were driving an armored personnel carrier to assault Ukrainian positions, received a powerful attack from a Ukrainian kamikaze drone. The target was successfully destroyed. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone spotted another infantry armored personnel carrier. The Russians did not disguise it in the trees, probably because they ran out of fuel. The Ukrainians hit the vehicle with a precise hit, but its armor holds up. For the final destruction of the target, another kamikaze drone was used. Target successfully destroyed. The Ukrainian city of Pokrovsk. Russians attack from different directions with small groups of heavy artillery. Ukrainian defenders repel the attack by destroying tanks with kamikaze drones and shells. Here, Ukrainian operators are hunting for Russian anti-aircraft missile systems. A hit produces a very large fireworks display. The hunt continues until all missile launchers are destroyed. Russian attack aircraft tried to break through to Ukrainian positions using an armored personnel carrier. Their movement was spotted by Ukrainian intelligence. At the same time, the Ukrainian military waited for the best moment. And fired a precise shot from a javelin. Completely destroying the combat vehicle. And then we eliminated the entire enemy landing force. Here, Russians are fleeing the battlefield in a Russian-made car called a bukhanka. They were carrying wounded soldiers in it, but the car could not accelerate quickly because of the load, and in order to lighten the weight, the Russians began throwing their wounded soldiers out. But this did not help them. Here, the Russians tried to capture Ukrainian positions with tanks and armored vehicles with infantry. The Ukrainians began to resist them, destroying the tanks with kamikaze drones and dropping shells directly on the occupiers' heads. In the Siversk direction, a convoy of 2 tanks and 1 armored vehicle was attacked by Ukrainian drones. After the drone attack, the crew of the tanks and armored vehicle began to abandon the vehicles and flee into the forest. Ukrainian pilots first destroyed the equipment and then the occupiers. Ukrainian aerial reconnaissance spotted 1 Russian T-72 tank. This is a very good target. The Ukrainian military immediately raised a kamikaze drone to catch up and completely destroy it. Here, the Russian occupiers decided to break through the mined fields of the Ukrainian military, but to their horror, all their equipment exploded on mines, and then the Ukrainian military fired at them from drones. The breakthrough ended in failure. And this is another lone Russian tank on Ukrainian territory, which exploded and completely burned down after being hit by a kamikaze drone. Thank you, friends. That's all for today. Subscribe to the channel to be the first to see new videos. This material was prepared by Hustler. See you soon.